T-shirts and businesses. So,
Yeah.
well, to 2021.
Yeah.
Suck it, 2020.
Right.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to the year ending of 2020. I think we can all welcome the year end and be cautiously optimistic about the year 2021.
Yeah. No pressure, 2021.
But, yeah, don't screw it up.
Don't screw it up.
Don't screw it up. But before we get started, we need an introduction because some of you don't know who we are.
This is the Buffalo Community Podcast, all about the greatest small town in the USA, the people in it, and how it all works together. Here are your hosts, Tyler Reiss and Mark Benzer.
Quick, before people shut off their phones right now, I think we should ask everybody, saying, hey, comment, who do you want to see on the podcast this coming up year, 2021?
Yeah.
We have a list of people that we plan to have on. You know, it's kind of just line up some schedules.
Yep.
But I'm interested. Who do you want to hear from? You know,
Yep.
nominate somebody and let's get it together because
Make it happen.
We've had an awesome time doing this, and that's kind of this year in review.
Right.
Kind of going over. Can't believe it's already been a year. But I kind of just want to sit and talk about what's happened. You know, the episodes and even the public interactions. I think we both had a pretty awesome time at the Green Bean Open.
Yeah.
Kind of felt like little rock stars.
Yeah. It's good to get that feedback of like, okay, like you can see numbers like, hey, this one had this many views and this one had this many views. And, you know, but what you don't know is, was it a 5-second view? Was it a, you know?
Well, I inflate all of them.
Right. Good.
For sure.
Good. But just to get some of that feedback in the community is encouraging.
Yeah, and we're not short of public commentary at all. I think that's always been great. Let's tell the Green Bean story real quick. You and I, we golfed on the same team. Green Bean Open was a fundraiser out at Wild Marsh for the local food shelf, and that was right after our Hayes Public House interview, and it was awesome. It was, hey, Mark and Tyler, you know, people are practicing their putting. We love that podcast with Pugs, and we loved it too.
Credit to Pugs.
Yeah, that's not us. That's Pugs. Right. But we got to ride his coattails a little bit as that celebrity amateur event that we did there in June or July, whatever it was. But those things we're really appreciative of and really kind of dumbfounded of, hey, it's those podcast guys. I was like, cool.
Yeah, right.
Makes us feel a little good, and it makes us feel good that we hear stories of, hey, we're using that business because we saw it on the podcast.
That's over and above everything.
Yeah.
Is we hope to bring value to listeners and to guests. That's kind of what our mission was from the beginning, and that affirmation is awesome.
Prime example, I think, is the one I've probably most heard about is CK Seafoods.
Yep.
Which was episode 3? 4? I'll tell you here in a second. 3. Episode 3.
Yep.
Little fun story about that episode. CK Seafoods is Paul and Lori between Buffalo and Delano, but they sell fresh food weekly. I mean, they deliver it to your door. It was in the ocean on, I think it was Wednesday, and it's at your door on Friday. It's fresh. It's very fresh. They were generous enough. They brought in live lobsters for us, which was really awesome. They brought in some salmon as well. We really enjoyed that. I hear about that all the time. You know, said, oh yeah, CK Seafoods. We never knew that.
Right.
So that's maybe the most one that I hear about. And it was, I learned a lot there.
Yeah, and that was, we barely knew what we were doing. We kind of know what we're doing now, kind of. But at that time, episode 3, came from, Sue and Suzanne with the Chamber, and
Tim and Patty Special.
Tim and Patty with Buffalo Floral. Pretty comfortable guests, and CK Seafood was kind of I didn't know Paul, I didn't know Lori, I didn't know we had a seafood place in town. This was kind of our first episode.
That at 8 o'clock at night too.
Yeah, of going like, I don't know these people. I don't really know how to do podcasts. Let's just see how this goes. And
do you remember what happened? Our big faux pas? I
No.
didn't push record on the camera for 20 minutes. We had to re-record that. Do you remember that?
that was the Bulldogs.
No, it's happened twice.
Oh,
With CK Seafoods, I stop. I go, oh, we didn't push record. I said, well, that was a great warm-up. So we kind of caught up right after that, but I had to push re-record on that. That was one of our biggest ones. Like, hey, excellent story, Paul and Lori.
tell it again.
Yes, please
But
do
act
so.
like it's the first time you're telling it. Yeah, and we'll laugh like it's the first time, and we'll.
What you brought up a great point was the Bulldogs.
Yeah.
That same thing happened, and it couldn't have worked out better. I thought it was about 20 minutes. We had a couple of good one-liners, a couple of Mighty Ducks references.
Yep.
Corey Braun had an awesome one, and
Yep.
everybody in lockstep. Hey, now we actually have to record this.
Right.
It was 20 minutes of it, and it worked almost word for word, I think.
Yeah.
The second time,
Right.
and everybody, the second time you don't get quite a laugh, but everybody faked it correctly. And
Yep. So no, that's been, I guess it's proof that we kind of know what we're doing now. The mistakes are it's too bad we just can't do an outtakes.
Well, that's true.
Right.
I delete all that stuff pretty quickly.
Yeah. Gosh, so many good guests though, and that's kind of what I'm scrolling through here. I'm looking forward to having 2021 Hall of Fame candidates.
Yeah,
I think
that was awesome.
That was a really great episode, just to kind of get an idea of, how do you say it? I don't want to say the best of the best, but I mean the Hall of Famer.
Dami and Amanda were excellent guests.
Yep.
I think they're both being Gophers this year.
Yeah.
I think they are right now.
Right.
But you're exactly right. I think that's one we definitely want to repeat.
Yep.
Does it have an episode number there?
Yeah, the, episode 16 also looks like one of our higher performing. Again, just going by the numbers.
Yeah.
180 YouTube views, which is by far
our least amount to listen to.
Least amount.
What I remember about Dami and Amanda, it was when they came in, their poise and just their, I'd say professionalism. They're students, but their professionalism, and they came in and they just knocked it out of the park.
Right.
And they're not going to have a problem doing anything in this world, I think. And that was shared, I think, around faculty, at the school, and we're definitely proud of them, and we're looking forward to next year's for that.
Yeah,
that was a really fun episode. I'm
Absolutely.
glad that came together. We've had some really great moments this last year, and one of the funniest comments I would say was episode 1, the grand finale of them all. Tim Speckle, former employer. We used to actually submit questions that we were going to ask our guests before we actually interviewed them. And we decided to steer away from that. But one of the questions was, if you weren't doing what you're doing now, what would you be doing?
Yeah.
And he said, a Calvin Klein diesel fitter.
Yeah. And we both kind of like, yeah,
that's pretty great. What is it?
Yeah.
Oh, diesel fitter.
Yeah.
Diesel fitter.
Yeah.
And the silence was palpable, and it was like, there's a really bad dad joke
right
here. It's get it knocked out of the park. But thanks for Tim and Pat.
Yeah, anybody who knows Tim,
awesome.
so that's we should have
known that was coming.
We should have known something was coming.
Yeah. Is there any other ones that jump right out to you?
And I don't want to discredit anybody, because all of our guests have been awesome, right?
Yes.
Obviously our first, getting Rusty Kath on the show was fun. He made it really, really easy for us. Speaking of, riding coattails and just kind of getting out of the way, just getting Rusty in here and getting out of his way was a lot of fun.
Yes, absolutely. So Rusty, that was one of our best performing ones ever, and I hear comments on that as well. And he's local personality, but we hear comments on that all. He's not a business owner or anything like that.
Right.
But that was, people always go back to that one, and that was episode 8. Yeah. 8, 9 or so. Right. But it was a very fun one.
And yeah. And like anything, if we were sending out demo tapes to try to, as an example of our work, it's probably the one I send out only because
Rusty's so good.
He just makes us look so good.
He's got that smooth, velvety voice. Yeah. And yes, when he can play a room in absolutely like water off a duck's back on a question that I thought was a poor question, but he made it really, really funny when I asked him what his biggest mistake was as his first question. Oh. Boy, did he knock that one out of the park. I'm using that one a lot because it was a baseball story.
Sure.
But his biggest broadcasting mistake was not knowing how many innings were in an amateur baseball game.
Yep.
But he recovered. He's doing well. That was a really fun one. What's the Scoop? That was a pretty fun one. That was kind of when we were still on the road, and that was our first offsite.
Yep, first offsite. Learned a lot on that one. Mm-hmm. It was great. Brady had us in a little before hours. Yeah. And Brady, being the good guy he is, people saw there were people in there, and he invited them in, and we had a little bit of a live audience.
For episode 4, we had a live audience already, which is a bit ridiculous.
Right, exactly. Speaking of Bulldogs, there's Corey Braun. I'm gonna ignore that one right now.
Oh, it would have been great if you just connected to Bluetooth. All right, you're on the air. Good luck to the Bulldogs next year. We hope that we can finally get that banner up.
A great episode with the Bulldogs, no doubt. But yeah, again, we could go through every single episode, how many you're better at keeping track at that than I am, but we don't have time to do it. But I enjoyed having John Holtz in. John Holtz is
I could have talked to him for
art teacher at the high school, and wasn't plugging a business and wasn't which is largely what we do. I mean, that is who we are and what we do, but
World
interesting
traveler.
People is first, that's our job to try to, again, he made it easy for us.
He definitely makes the checkbox there as interesting people. If you didn't listen to it, go back to it, and that is, what episode is that? Episode 27, back in August, we actually interviewed him. So I think we could have talked to him for another hour and a half maximum.
One thing we do ask all of our guests is, is there anything you want to talk about? Is there anything you don't want to talk about?
Yes.
And I remember we asked John that question before the episode started, and he said, I want to talk about travel, and I want to talk about cancer. Mm-hmm. It's like,
that's a natural progression.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll nail that.
and it worked, and he had a great message, and so many great episodes. I hate to even, we've already done it, but we're not going to be able to name everybody. But
no.
I mean, Evelyn's, Pugs.
But where you can. You can always go to your favorite podcast app and download us and follow us.
Right.
And you have every single one of our guests.
Yep.
Another one that kind of jumps out to me was Doctors Warren and Heidi Zook. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think I spit out coffee before we started. One, if you don't know them, they're great people, but we ask that same question as, is there anything that you want to talk about or not want to talk about? And because this is early on, and I think someone said, I made the joke, we're going to really talk about, religion, sex, and politics.
Right.
And I think it was Heidi that said, oh, shoot, I thought we were really going to talk about our sex life.
Yep.
And I just lost it. I mean, sorry, Heidi, for listening, but I lost it. I think I almost spit out all my coffee, but that was really fun. That was a really fun one. Great guests again. Little fun to reminisce on that one. Let's see. I think we've been surprised at how well some of the episodes perform, and as as we're not making eye contact with his camera, we're looking back through our episodes.
Right.
Some of these perform really well because they're just generally interesting people
Right.
or their story.
Yep.
And then the ones that don't do so well when it's just Mark and I.
Exactly.
Recapping other ones.
Right. But I mean, just quick year in your review. If we haven't touched on it, we had Jen Pecorina, Blue Star Mothers.
Yep.
We had IntegraPrint. We had fun with IntegraPrint. The mayoral candidates, kind of during election time, where we were able to get an idea of our mayor candidates as well as some city council candidates.
Yep.
Tom Kuzma, the Kuzma Chiropractic.
Pew, 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 pew. That was my editing skills.
That when you're showing off your editing skills.
Oh, it was so cool. Go back. I think it's at minute 11 or minute 17.
Oh, good memory. Wow.
There, I go back and watch it quite a bit.
Betsy Kelly.
The American Legion. That was a really fun one. That was for Veterans Day.
Joel Gilmer, Dean of Students over at STFX.
Yep. DeZiel Heating and Air. That was an interesting one.
Yep. We had a full table here with DeZiel.
Yeah. Yep.
But
Becky Melvey, Abundant Kitchen. That was a really fun one. And she's not shy in front of the camera. I mean, she does live Facebook Live when she's cooking.
Yep.
So that was really fun just to kind of get people's.
Yep. Another guest who made our job easy.
Yeah.
We didn't have to work too hard to get Becky to show her personality, and she's got a great store, doing awesome things now, downtown Buffalo and also in a different town.
Excelsior.
We
don't care
wanting
about
to say
Excelsior. we super support the Abundant Kitchen. We don't care about Excelsior.
Yeah.
Britt Haskins at Classic Hall and Event.
Right.
Can't imagine. I don't want to be the downer, but I mean, I can't imagine how this year has been because everything that's happened, and we hope that everything turns around to get more events.
Right. Melissa Mulder, I want to give a shout out here at the Wright County United Way. Melissa Mulder, if you're still looking for opportunities to give through a really, really great organization, the Wright County United Way works with dozens of charitable organizations, people who need financial support. So that is episode 35, and kind of we're in that time of year where needs are high and people might be looking like, hey, I want to give. Who needs it the most?
Yeah.
It's a great resource.
Oh, one episode that did not age very well at all was our March Madness episode.
Yeah. It was early COVID.
Yep. J&J Athletics, Jason and Jolene Sorensen were so awesome enough they put a prize package together as a Buffalo Community Podcast Final Four March Madness. I don't think we could have used March Madness as a one, but the official BCP basketball tournament.
Yeah, right.
So, but that was literally less than a week later. They canceled the tournament. So we hope that maybe we can do that coming up spring.
Yep, we will.
We'll lean on it.
Right.
But yeah, that one didn't age very well at all because it was, hey, we're having this really fun thing, kind of like the NFL giveaway with the Vikings and the Bears.
And never mind.
And just kidding. Randy Latz said community lawn care. That was a really fun one, too.
Yes, he had some good travel stories to tell and kind of.
One thing I've really learned from this is, lawn care, cutting grass. It might not be super interesting to everybody, but it was the story behind everybody in those businesses. Looking at it, I don't think you would have known. The travels, or I think we had a good conversation about beer, after we always have maybe a more interesting conversation after the cameras stop rolling, because I think everybody's nerves come down just a little bit.
Right.
Would you agree?
Yeah, I think everybody, not everybody, would you say 50% or more of the people come in and kind of express a little bit of, I'm kind of nervous, and I get it. I was nervous, early on, but I would say that within 5 minutes of this, you almost kind of forget that the camera's there, And if I was going to give us a little credit, maybe we're a little better at just bringing it to a conversational level. And
if I had to give us a grade, I mean, A.
Yeah, really not very much more room to improve.
Yeah.
Basically. But, that's certainly our goal, is
make it conversational.
Make it conversational and tell us about your business, tell us about what you do, but ultimately let's get to know you, the person.
Yep.
So.
Oh gosh, what else? This year, I mean, we did a few digital episodes. We had the county on, and honestly, I mean, we want to highlight some really great things, but we're an information source as well. We were contacted by the county asking, hey, can we give a COVID update? Mm-hmm. And those maybe aren't our favorite ones, most favorite, because
it's COVID.
It's COVID,
right?
Yeah, we're not psychos.
Yeah, right.
But, they gave some good information, but I think like all the COVID news over the last year, I don't think we really know more than when we started than when we finished the conversation.
Yeah.
That being said, it did transition into some like DG did digital marketing. Mm-hmm. I mean, we did that one remotely because that was kind of at the height of the spring COVID market.
And exactly.
We didn't know what was going on.
Yep.
But I guess video conferences are super normal now.
Right, and I don't think that'll change.
Sometimes it's more efficient.
Right.
Sometimes it's not.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, if we miss anybody, I don't. Nick Knackery, I get a ton of comments on Nicolette. Hello.
Thanks, Amanda. Literally right before you said that, she put a sign and says Nick Knackery.
Oh, really?
In the craft, funny. Which she totally. She made this awesome yarn bird, and mine looks like something a bird would make a nest out of. But I've got a little shelf up there with all of our little gifts from our guests, and that's always fun.
So I once you start going down the road of calling individual people out, it's hard to stop. So I guess if we missed anybody, Jeremy Welter, Eric Olson was on. I feel like we've probably hit on everybody, and thank you for giving us a little bit of time, and hopefully you found a little bit of value there.
I hope you smiled.
Right. And
well, I want to thank you, Mark. Thank you for making this a great, I don't want to say experiment, because I think we're in it.
Yeah.
We're
past beyond
that
experiment.
Yep.
Yeah. And thank you, because so much of the technical aspect of what people see is your work, the creative work. I have it pretty easy, and
you're the talent.
No, I'm just a guy.
I'm going to share a little bit of a story. Yeah. Just a guy. So, inevitably, and this is more for the viewers. You already know this story. We'll be talking with somebody, and then we usually kind of like, oh gosh, hey, we know we're going to have to edit something out because the flow just stops. Mark usually stops almost a nanosecond when he's about to forget something. Goes, Tyler's just going to edit this out. Before it's maybe even necessary to say that.
I panic.
Tyler's just going to edit this out. So no, it's been a really fun project. I'm looking forward to many more episodes.
Yeah.
Community involvement. We'll take suggestions for sure.
Yeah. Exactly. You can send us guest ideas.
Show ideas.
You
can always send us food.
Or
merch.
Right.
If you want to go send us shirts or something, I'll wear your shirt on. I'm a double extra medium, maybe a triple extra medium.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm up for that. Yeah, it's always fun. I always like the local T-shirts and businesses. So, well, to 2021.
Yeah.
Suck it, 2020.
Right.
For the Buffalo Community Podcast, I'm Tyler Reiss with Edina Realty.
I'm Mark Benzer with Country Financial.
All right.